All right, that's Greenlight. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is Monday morning. That's usually me more Monday. And I tell you what, I went and shot some interesting stuff on Saturday, but holy crap, we're going to have to take a great big left turn today. Things got interesting this weekend. And, well, I ain't going to lie. It kind of feels like one of these.
Keep this way. No more homoerotic rocket ranches. Got it? Got it. Oh, jeez. So much wang.
Of course, it may also be the case that, as we're taking this hard left turn, that just too many effects at one time. It felt like the Totar Win Thursday sounder went a little side. We got Baghdadi! Cameron! We got Baghdadi!
Yeah, we did. Whoops.
Okay, so I got some stuff going on this morning. We're going to try to get off the air a little bit faster. As y'all can see, we're on the air a little bit earlier than we usually are this morning. As I got to get out of the house, go run some errands. But, brother, we've got to talk about this. Because it's not just that we got Baghdadi. There are some interesting particulars around the getting of the Baghdadi.
Okay. Yeah, how many campaign promises is Donald Trump up to now? Because he had actually a pretty short list. We're going to cut regulations. Check.
We're going to cut taxes.
Check. We're going to get rid of Obamacare. I didn't get rid of Obamacare, but Cocaine Mitch managed to get rid of the mandate, which is going to effectively kill Obamacare. We finally started construction on the wall. And, oh yeah, we're going to bomb the shit out of ISIS.
And I love it because he's trying to put a stop to foreign wars. As much as I absolutely love war fighting, I'm not a big fan of dumping money into these people. They're not. There's all this controversy about pulling out of Syria and, but we're abandoning the Kurds. Guys, this is not complicated. Let me tell you the thing that you need to know about all of our involvement in the Middle East. Everybody that we're involved with in the Middle East, except with the possible narrow exception of Israel, there are no good guys. Every choice we make to back a player in the Middle East is a choice between the lesser of 5 or 6 evils. There are no good guys in the Islamicist war state of the Middle East. It's just one violent, dangerous, and abusive interpretation of Islam after another. There are no positive, productive interpretations of Islam in power in the Middle East. I would almost go so far as to say there's no such thing as a positive, peaceful, productive interpretation of Islam, but I'm sure there's got to be some weirdo fringe group out there that all the other Muslims hate, that is somewhat nearly akin to what the American leftists think of when they think of Muslims, but by a wide majority margin. The average Muslim worldwide is in active support of the execution of homosexuals, the prosecution, persecution, and execution of non-believers, and the active employment of jihad, of the taqiyya, and of that. God, what's that thing? What's it called? I've got one of them, or I've got 2 of them. Fatwas. They, by a wide majority, Muslims support those things. Honor killings, the stoning of rape victims for prostitution, just madness. So we got Baghdadi, and Baghdadi, he's a lot like a lot of them.
Oh yeah, he's a total piece of shit.
Which is to say, yeah.
Yeah, so total piece of shit. Al-Baghdadi. Okay, just you know what? I'm gonna Hollywood this up just a little bit. Just put you in the frame of mind. Okay, you're watching a movie, right? And then interior shot, bad guys sitting around being bad guys, twirling their mustaches, or in this case, maybe they're stroking their beards. And then you hear the choppers, and you know it's the Americans. You know they're gonna kick the shit out of you. And so you have your wives put on their suicide vests, and you and your children go down into your bunker and your escape tunnels. The Americans come through, they sweep everything, they shoot all your wives because they're wearing suicide vests, and they chase you down into the tunnels, and they have you cornered with your children. And what do? Well, you detonate the suicide vest you're wearing, killing your own children, and you're such a loser, you don't even manage to take out one of the American soldiers in the process. Or, and there were probably maybe some Russian soldiers on the ground as well. Apparently, this was done in cooperation with all the players in the area. So this is actually a solid op. And maybe you could have even surrendered. I don't know. But no, instead, you murder your own babies. And what do you get for it? Nothing. You don't take a single one of the enemy with you. Loser. Loser was al-Baghdadi. A pathetic end to a pathetic life. And unfortunately, it all fits together rather harmoniously, despite how terrible it is. So there's that.
How dare you?
Yeah.
Sorry, man. Just the thought of killing your own children. Like, what the fuck? I don't even know that I could kill somebody else's children, but my own children? What a pathetic loser. Like, I can't use harsh enough language without devolving into saying the F word over and over and over again.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, where do we want to go next? Because there's so much to talk about on this thing. There's so many chunks of just information.
We could zero in on part of what made it a Totar Win, and that's how Donald Trump very cleverly used the optics of the situation to continue to control the media narrative. I love the whole thing where it was actually part of his speech where he's like, yeah, Baghdadi died like a dog, a coward, whimpering and crying. Whew, man, yeah. Trump, wow.
In fact, I've seen memes on Facebook where there's this one guy that's got the Facebook meme. It says, "Our president will straight up kill your bosses and then call him a bitch on Facebook, on Twitter." yeah, he will. Yes, he will. I just pulled it up to see if I could find that tweet real quick. I won't spend too much time looking for it.
Yeah, but what a bitch move. You kill your own kids. Like, I'm not going to get hung up on that for the entire time, but yeah, what a bitch.
Yeah, okay, I'm not going to go digging for it for too long. Let's talk about some of the things that have gone on around it. So we've gone over how it went down. He got chased down a tunnel and he blew himself up, killed his kids and a bunch of his fighters. And I'm surprisingly comfortable with that. As much as I couldn't imagine myself killing my own children, I have a wealth of experience that means I have no difficulty at all imagining someone like this murdering his own children because it's useful, convenient, or just makes a political point. So let's talk a little bit about the situation with Pelosi and the Democrats. There's complaints that they were not made aware that the attack was going to happen. So a little bit of context, historical context, in the immediate interim, there has been a great deal of criticism leveled against Donald Trump for pulling our soldiers out of the Middle East in several places. And the argument is usually something to do with the idea that we're abandoning the Kurds. And like I said a minute ago, there are no good guys in the Middle East. With the possible narrow exception of Jerusalem, of Israel, the Middle East is populated, at least at the active political levels, with monsters. And below that, it's populated with barely conscious people.
Yeah, fantastic combination there.
And please believe, when I talk about the just the average run-of-the-mill citizens there being barely conscious, I'm not trying to be derogatory. I mean that sentiment with the deepest pity for a people that have been abused by a politically powerful horde of monsters,
For
of
centuries now.
purely evil men for thousands of years, who have caused the citizen, their native countrymen, to be ill-educated and deeply impoverished. They're barely conscious people because they're almost exclusively illiterate. To what degree any of them can read, they read one book only, and they only read select parts of it, and by a wide majority, they usually have it read to them and interpreted by one of the political elites, which is the clergy in such a theocrat state.
Yeah, this is a region of the world that is supposedly responsible for concepts like the number zero, the ability to
False.
perform algebraic equations.
False.
I'm going somewhere with it, but I appreciate it. What I was going to say was, let's just assume all these philosophical and scientific advancements are true. What halted that progress? I wonder if it's almost like they're possessed by an ideology that tells them point blank things like, oh, you should lie and negotiate with your enemies in bad faith, and it's totally cool to hurt and murder people and even commit suicide.
Oh, the taqiyya and the jihad, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's not that there are dumb people in the Middle East. It's that after literal centuries of repression, man, it's
It's the norm.
It's the norm. Molyneux had a fascinating theory on this that I think really applies. And what happens is, when you're in this kind of tribal development phase, you have to learn to stop burning your heretics, because sometimes your heretics figure things out like, actually,
The Earth is round.
Yeah, the sun is the center of the galaxy, not the Earth. Things like that. And if you burn your heretics, well, you never have those advancements in science and culture, because you burn your heretics. Well, go ahead and be a heretic or an apostate in an Islamic culture. I'll wait.
Yeah. So the Donald has just had heaps and heaps of criticism leveled on him about abandoning the Kurds, and I have not been critical of that maneuver. I like that we're getting out of the Middle East, but it was, oh, you pulled all these soldiers. 50. It was 50 soldiers. It was 50 soldiers that were put there 10 years ago with the claim that we're only going to be there for 6 months or some shit. And oh, it's 10 years later, and we're still sitting there wasting our time on these useless people. But, we didn't bring back everybody? We left behind just enough that the pullout smoked out this bad man, and he got greased. Now, we're going to talk about this headline a little bit in just a second here. This is the Washington Post. This is the headline as it appears currently. But I want to say this about Pelosi and that situation first. The Democrats have also been hypercritical the last couple of days because they weren't notified that action was being taken to eliminate this monster, right?
Hey, do you think they planned this operation in a skiff?
Yes, absolutely. And I also suspect that Donald Trump did not plan an and give the order to execute on this operation, but rather was sent maybe a request for forces, but he was, hey, boss, we got him. We're gonna go do the thing. We good? Yeah, we're good. Yeah, do the thing. Okay. And then they did the thing. Well, Pelosi and the Democrats weren't informed because, let's face it, Nancy, you are in active sedition and the commission of treason, and as you are currently engaged in the active work of committing a soft coup against the legitimately elected President of the United States without a shred of serviceable evidence that he has committed any activity whatever that rises to the level of high crimes and misdemeanors. Your claims are specious at best, fallacious at most probable, and you are an active criminal. You are people who have expressed your desire to destroy this president, and I quote, by any means necessary, and in the pursuit of that have informed against the United States. You have informed against us to our enemies by informing hordes of criminal foreign invaders that the immigrations and customs enforcement police were coming to remove them from the country, which they were in the process of criminally invading. It's not that we don't trust you, Nancy. It's that you cannot be trusted. You are an enemy of the people of the United States of America in active, seditious revolt against her sacrosanct Constitution. You should not be removed from office. You should be executed for your crimes.
Yeah, I mean, and I just want to drill down on that just real quick. I said, we're going to trust you with one of the biggest operations ever. When we can't even trust you with ICE information.
Right. And to be very clear, my claim about Pelosi and several of her ilk being in active revolt against the Constitution and that they should not be removed from office but executed for their crimes against the Constitution and their oaths of office is not a matter of opinion. That is a statement of facts in evidence which are conclusively and immutably provable, and I would be more than thrilled to see that case argued in a court of law, given only the evidence publicly available against the defendant.
Yeah.
Now,
but get your feelings all butthurt because Donald didn't tell you about this. Because what you're suggesting here, the fact that they might sabotage this operation just so they get the optics win, that's pretty terrifying, but it's not that big of a stretch to at least consider it as a possibility. In fact, you're foolish if you don't at least consider it a possibility. So yeah. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi.
Yeah, bear with me just a second. I'm giving my aunt a ride to the airport this morning, and she just pulled in the driveway, so I sent her a text message. I'll be with you in a minute. I'll be with you in a minute. You should be watching the show, so I can just say that shit to you. But, love you. Be with you in a minute. Here we go. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, extremist leader of Islamic State, dies at 48. This is a corrected headline. Thank gods for archive.is. This is the original headline. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, austere religious scholar at helm of Islamic State, dies at 48. So the headline has been corrected because the Washington Post rightly received a great deal of criticism over this. Because this is Tim Pool described it as a neutral to positive headline, and I think that's fair and correct. This headline is the same as Oh, for example, this headline: Timothy McVeigh, innovator and enthusiast of lawn fertilizer products, dies at 33. Does that sound like the Unabomber murdered a bunch of people with a bomb? Wow.
No.
There went every chance at monetization. Fuck. And this does not sound like the primary mastermind of years of terrorist violence and the persecution of Christians and the beheading of innocent people for over a decade was finally brought to justice by the God-fearing, good, hard-working, brilliant men and women of the United States Armed Forces and Special Operations.
Yeah, how many thousands of rapes alone do you think he's responsible for? Like, just that one metric. And let's not even forget the fact that chattel slavery returned to Syria at about the same time this guy started his little following.
Yeah.
That's weird. So, I'm sure it's just a coincidence.
And I'm sure that the rise in rapes and the return of chattel slavery are completely unrelated metrics even to one another.
Yeah, of course. They couldn't possibly be related.
Of course.
Who wants to rape their slaves?
So, and the Washington Post was not the only one to try and candy coat this character, but they were, I think, the worst offender, or at least the worst one that I saw thus far. I want to share this. This is not actually from CNN. This is a mock-up, but it's hilarious. And well, this sounds very CNN-y. President calls ISIS freedom fighter a coward and dog. Credits Russia in brutal slaying. That just sounds like something straight off the pages of CNN. CNN sucks.
Yeah. So part of what was brilliant about this, and this needs to be noted, is that this proves that Trump can actually handle extremely touchy diplomacy, because this was done in cooperation with all the major players in the area. Apparently, Erdogan knew and was on board, and apparently Russia knew and was on board, and obviously our guys were on board.
Yeah, everybody knew and was on board except for the Democrats, because if they'd have known, they wouldn't have been on board.
Yeah, that's
this
part
is
of
their
the
guy.
operation. But how tricky is it to negotiate between all these parties? Now, obviously, it can be done because it was done here.
Yes.
But I'm just saying, if it was up to me to hammer out this deal, I wouldn't even know where to begin. I wouldn't even know who to talk to tell me where to begin.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Donald Trump sucks at foreign diplomacy. He just sucks at it.
How dare you?
Who tells us that Donald Trump sucks at foreign diplomacy? The same media that refers to this guy as an austere scholar.
Well, not just that, but the same Democrat politicians who put this guy in power. They created this monster. They did it with their cowardice. They did it with their weakness. They did it with their inability to dedicate and complete a mission. They did it with their deep economic incentive to produce and sell weapons, which they seek to remove from the control of the American people. They did it because their vision of the world is the Middle East. And that's not to say that the Democrats are interested in Sharia law or an Islamic caliphate in the United States, but what they are interested in is a repressed slave state of small-minded, ill-educated, productive chattel labor.
Yeah, they need
this
to quarter
man
the NPCs.
Is the ultimate Democrat dream. He is what they want to achieve. It has nothing to do with functional ideology. It has everything to do with control of market, control of labor practices, and the control of property and wealth.
Yes. And God bless Trump for being the monkey wrench
Hallelujah.
that came in and decided to break all those paradigms. times.
All right, so here's the marker. Let's see. Left turn, total win. Baghdadi's dead. Suicide vest. He killed 3 of his own kids. Dims were left out of the decision-making process because they're criminals and traitors and they can't be trusted. Wapo loves them some Baghdadi, and well, Pelosi can't be trusted. So we just didn't tell her about. We didn't tell her what we're doing. She's that friend you have with the big mouth that you lie to her and tell her that you need her to come over because she left her purse last weekend, and she's too dumb to realize she's got her purse in her damn car. But you really told her to come pick it up because you're having a surprise party for somebody else, and you know that if you tell her that's why she's coming over, she's going to screw it up. She's going to run her big mouth, and the surprise will be spoiled.
I should run my big mouth. I should resist Donald Trump. He's an evil man. Orange man bad. And
Yeah,
Canadian one good.
And, of course, we know that alcohol lowers your inhibitions, and the more a person drinks, the less they can be trusted to keep a secret.
I don't know, man. Somehow Mitch McConnell keeps all his secrets, and that kind of strikes me as having bourbon with lunch.
Not Cocaine Mitch. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I've got for you for today. Cameron, you got anything else in closing remarks?
Just boom.
Yep. Bam!
Yeah.
Boo! All right. Well, y'all be safe out there. It's time to go to work. We'll see you tomorrow morning. We got a little something special for Taco Tuesday, too. Y'all take care.
Yay. All right. Deuces.